friend of the All Souls trilogy, your love for this story is meant to release you. You are meant to have alchemy in your life too. It begins with absence and desire, and that includes in your personal journey as well. But before we find out what book only you can call up and talk about what I mean, be sure you're subscribed to this channel for future videos. Today, I want to talk with you about alchemy. I am a novice at alchemy study, for sure. What I'm learning is that it can be the marriage of two things that are very different from each other. So I saw that theme all throughout this part of the story. First, we see it when Matthew takes Diana to his home and she's looking at the books that he inherited from his brother. Matthew says, magic with science, or science with magic. My brother never really figured it out. And Diana says, I can't say I have either. That's why I'm drawn to it. And that affects me so profoundly. There's so much in this episode about the tension of holding two things at the same time. We also see the divide that happens when we say or believe or live, only this can work or this can work, but not both. We see this a lot as different characters discuss Diana's growing relationship with a vampire. Her aunts don't approve. Jillian doesn't approve. There's so much suspicion. Domenico and Gerbert also talk about it. They talk about their deep suspicion of witches. It has to be either or. One of the definitions that I heard this week is that alchemy is the unification of opposite substances after purification. So let's talk about the dinner. The unification between power that Diana has and the power that Matthew has, that both of their communities are saying, never the two shall meet. That unification does not happen at the dinner. In actuality, what I see is that Diana is actually quite forward. I can't believe that she asks the question, what do I smell like? Just because she wants to understand. To me, it's a brazen flirtation. She goes to kiss him. Matthew doesn't respond. Matthew doesn't kiss back. He stays rigid, says thank you for dinner, and moves along. What is happening in that experience? I would say that there's a unification and a purification that has to happen within Matthew first, before the alchemy can happen between Diana and Matthew. When Diana gets close to him and says, I'm safe with you, and he holds her and reacts to her in a way that doesn't feel very safe, but what does he do? He smells her. What does he say? Frankincense, chamomile honey, ancient things I thought I'd forgotten. How many times in our lives do we have a memory that seems to come out of nowhere and it comes from deep within us? And it might be a smell or a song, something that reminds us and takes us back to a visceral experience that we hadn't thought about for a long time. And I think that's what happens to Matthew. And I think there are parts of him that are coming back together. His logic, his decisions, they have to marry with that part of Matthew that Diana wakes up. Matthew's unification has to happen first. We do see the unification of opposites after purification. Diana learns about her power. She calls up the witch wind, which hasn't been done for centuries. Matthew's correct in saying, your power is undisciplined. You need to go someplace where you're safe and where you can learn. She surrenders. She agrees. Matthew is beginning to surrender to the magic of Diana. And isn't that a great scene at the end when they're walking with their backs to us into the night in the courtyard and they come together and they grab hands? The unification is right in front of us. And there's a great alchemy happening. Alchemy can happen for us all the time if we let it. One of the ways is when we allow what we begin to sense is happening in our subconscious with our conscience. Are you somebody who pays attention to your dreams? Are you somebody who gets a hit of intuition and begins to bring it into your experience and your perspective on the world? Are you somebody who reads and as a result gets a different perspective than you may have had before? This is a lesson that we all have to learn. It's not black, it's not white, it's not right and not wrong. It's a coming together and an understanding where the magic can happen. But sometimes a purification has to happen first. Where could that happen for you? So this week, consider, where do you need integration? Share in the comments, but more importantly, spend some time with this question. Dig a little deeper. You are a fan of the All Worlds trilogy. You love it. I want to help you get specific on how you can live out that love of this story. Let's make the magic of All Souls more than a fantasy. What can your story be? Are you also an Outlander fan? I host a Facebook Live show, Your Outlander Story, every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, and would love for you to join me. Just type Jenny Wells Reads into your Facebook search bar. See you there.